It's caught in the crossfire.
We turn to Canada now, and its hard-fought election is over, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau remains in power, but with a minority government. Early returns had his Liberal Party leading, but far short of the 170 seats needed for a second majority government. Mr. Trudeau's popularity dropped during scandals over appearing in blackface and his handling of a corruption case. Now, Mr. Trudeau will have to rely on support from the New Democratic Party to get legislation passed. He thanked supporters in Montreal.
None of this would have been possible without you. Thank you for the early mornings and the late nights. You've sacrificed a lot, taking time away from your families and friends to move Canada forward.
CNN's Paula Newton is at Trudeau headquarters in Montreal. She joins us now. So, Paula, despite the scandals confronting Justin Trudeau, he appears to have pulled off a win, although with a minority government. How was he able to do that? And what might this mean for his national and international standing?
Well, it's interesting, you know, that tour of atonement, as I call it, the contrition. It was very quick, it was very pointed, and I think many in Canada ended up forgiving him because they do not believe he or his policies are racist. Having said that, Rosemary, there were a list of other scandals that he was trying to overcome that had to do with governing, so certainly the shine had come off his political brand. The issue here, Rosemary, were his opponents. They just were not strong enough to capitalize on any of that. And Rosemary, to remind everyone, Canada is riding a very strong economy right now. A lot of that has to do with the strong U.S. economy. But in any case, things are good in Canada right now. You know, we have historically low unemployment rates. The economy continues to grow, a little bit tepid, but does, you know, continue to grow. And that definitely had something to do with it. The issue now, Rosemary, and you said it, with that minority government, he is weakened both at home, and that means he will be weakened abroad in terms of what he can do, say, for one specific issue, and that's on climate. Canadians spoke loud and clear this time around, Rosemary. They do want action on the climate crisis, and even if that means in some way, shape or form it coming right out of their wallets.
And Paula, now with a diminished government, can Canadians expect to see some sort of fundamental reshaping of politics in Canada?
There won't be anything fundamental. It'll be around the edges. But as much as, you know, Trudeau's allies continue to tell me there won't be changes, for the international leaders that are usually at the table with him, whether it's the G7 or the G20, they will see a diminished person. Why? He will have different guardrails around them in terms of his spending. He has made spending commitments already. What does that mean? There may not be a heck of a lot of money left over for defense spending, let's say, something that some of the allies, but especially NATO, wanted to see. And those are the kinds of issues you will start to see his international stature perhaps diminish, and he may not be able to come out as boldly as he would like. Having said that, you know, this was a very negative campaign, Rosemary, and it left a bad taste in many people's mouths. This is a minority government. Perhaps it will last the full 4 years. It may not. And at that point in time, he will be very careful in terms of striking out in any bold way internationally.
And Paula, the various scandals no doubt humbled Trudeau. How might this change his own leadership style and his party going forward?
Yeah, it's such a good word, isn't it? He was incredibly humbled, humiliated even, Rosemary. And yet those around him say that, you know, he hasn't quite figured out how that atonement will continue. They say it will. Rosemary, I have to point out that former U.S. President Barack Obama broke with convention and just a few days ago, you know, basically encouraged Canadians to vote for him. I'm not sure that it made any material difference, but inside the Trudeau circle, it meant a lot to him that he would tweet that out. And I think they're seeing that as a platform from which he will rebuild his reputation.
Right, our Paula Newton with that report from headquarters in Montreal. Many thanks.